The following video is based on play of an in-development build of Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail, and the content in the final version is subject to change, so don't pay too much attention to anything in here for numbers and things like that, as it will likely be changed in the final version. So let's look at the job gear then, the level 100 gear, the stuff that we're going to be seeing quite a bit of. Of course, there's stuff we've already seen concept art of, but it's one thing to see it in art form and another to see it in the game. And I think most people will look at some of this and go, wow. I certainly did. The texture quality across the entire board, starting here with Machinist, is just... it's on a new level, it really is, especially if the rest of the gear, which we didn't get to see much of, apart from this job gear in the actual demo, looks half as good as this. The dye options look really good as well. We had a look at a previous video, if you want to go check that out, from the media tour. We also showed off the dual dye palette, especially for Dragoon here. I love the way that metal actually looks like metal, leather looks like leather, and cotton looks like cotton, and you'll find a lot of the textures to be very standout. Look at this on Gunbreaker here. The various different pieces of leather, and obviously the way that the color and the lighting is hitting that color as we're panning. Some of the weapons look absolutely fantastic as well. I love the Gunbreaker weapon with the chains on it. It reminds me of Abyssos weapon slightly, you know, with the chains. But I really do like the outfits a lot more than I did when I saw the concept art. The Astro one here, the big standout for me is probably the weapon. I was actually blown away by how beautiful that winged weapon is floating there. And the feeling of like felt is something you'll see on Astro, on Red Mage, and indeed Dancer. It's something that just stands out so drastically from what we already have in the game. And I can't wait to see what things get backdated and how many pieces of gear might have these new textures applied to them. Reaper is a big favorite. When we looked at the concept art stuff before in a video prior to the media tour, a lot of people were like, I really hope this looks good in game because the concept art looks fantastic. Well, I'm very happy to say it does. It is a very nice outfit, and as you can see, it suits my character very nicely here. All of those different feathers and all of that lace, it works perfectly, doesn't it? And then the gold or brass inlay. The weapon is really nice as well, isn't it? You can imagine the sorts of weapons we might see for Reaper in Dawntrail, especially now they've got the technology to, you know, work with plumes and feathers. Red Mage might be my favorite set from the showcase that I'm doing here, mostly just because of the texture and the way that light hits that felt robe section, that like winged section, you know, the cloak. It's absolutely gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. The weapon's nothing too much to write home about for me personally. It's just another rapier. But my goodness, is that outfit beautiful. It really is. The way the light hits that and the shade, just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. If half of the outfits in the game have this sort of texture applied to them, I'll be super happy. But that's what this is all about, right? Paving the way for the next 10 years of outfits and gear so that we can have things like this be standard. So I'm really excited to see what old pieces get updated. Of course, we've got a warrior set here, which is probably one of the more least impressive, I would say, because we've seen quite a lot like this, but all the same, it is very gorgeous. You know, I love the weapon. I love the way that even the simple sets, forgive me for calling it that, look fantastic with the metal there, the detailing on that fur at the bottom. Just exceptional work, isn't it? Absolutely exceptional. I can only imagine how long it would have actually taken to get all of the job artifact sets to where Square Enix wanted them to be. And I love the tattoos as well. So Scholar then, very briefly here. I really like the Scholar. It's got a kind of like felt feel to it as well. Got a bit of that Red Mage sort of like skirt lining of the cloak at the back there. Obviously benefiting, I would imagine, from the dual dye palette system, allowing you to change that color as well as the actual rest of the chest piece, that green. The weapon's pretty cool as well. It reminds me of, well, a compass, and it looks like you're going in an adventure, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's not too bad. Honestly, things look so much better in the game than I expected them to. Black Mage is another great example of how robes can look even better than you know, they did before. I especially like the Black Mage cane on this one, the rod with the cat on it. I think that's awesome. The attention to detail across that and the little tassels and things. Really, really, really good set. I like the hat as well. I'd like to see a lot of the other hats that we have in the game have the same kind of treatment. It almost looks like this is realistic compared to a lot that we've seen before. Like it's a real hat, you know, with that sort of felt. Summoner is quite nice as well, especially the top half of it, sharing a lot of the fabric design, at least on that top section and the back with the Scholar, right? Same kind of textures, but it's got a kind of like fur-lined feel to it. I can't wait to see what, you know, more expansive gear sets look like, especially the raid sets, right, where they mix all of those different textures together. And of course, Glamour Endgame is mixing and matching, so with the dual palette system, it should be easier to mix things that normally wouldn't go together easier. The only blocker to that is going to be trying to match textures now, I think, especially if something gets like a velvet look to it and another gets like a cotton or fur look to it. It's probably going to have a very different reaction together if you wear the two pieces, as opposed to just having to match the dyes. White Mage, yeah, it's alright actually. I think the cane is the standout part for this. I don't hate the robe. It's just another robe, isn't it? It's another White Mage robe. It's pretty good. Obviously we're over here to Ninja. Ninja looks great. I love the attention to detail on all that metal work. There was actually some gear sets that I saw on guards when I walked around Tulialal on the demo at the media tour that I desperately want to get. I don't think I've got them in any footage yet, but I was just over the moon. There's guards wearing all kinds of intricate metal sort of scouting looking gear, sort of mixing that sort of plate mail with leather. Really cool stuff. Obviously Bard is just a wild card. It really is. I don't really know what to think about Bard. I love the guitar sort of bow. I quite like some elements like the legs on these. Not so sure about the hat. I don't know. It's different, isn't it? It hasn't grown on me personally yet. Monk here, I actually forgot during recording the footage, so I apologize. I forgot to get the weapons out, but I would imagine they're just, you know, just clawed weapons or something, fist weapons. So I do apologize for that. That's the only one I forgot to do, but I did do a bit of a pan. The fabric looks lovely on this, and like that snake pattern, like serpentine thing going all the way down. One thing you will notice on a lot of other pieces of gear though, is that the patterns and textures are so much higher resolution than anything they've ever done before. So if you've ever looked really close to a piece of armor that has a design on it, you get that horrible, nasty sort of pixelation. That is a thing of the past. So it'll be nice to see how many things get backdated to bring those to life. I'm thinking, you know, things that have like a chocobo symbol on them or whatever it might be. Hopefully there's a few more pixels allowed. Pictomancer is beautiful. We actually showed off how this dies in the dual dye channel video that's already out. I absolutely love this outfit. It's fantastic. The detail on every single section of it. When it was showcased on that real life model, I think it was at one of the fan fests, just fantastic in real life, and it's such a good set. It really is. I can't wait to see all of the different palettes and brushes that we can collect, and yeah, super excited to see all of the Picto stuff. Samurai then, it could be accused of being just another samurai, sort of samurai-esque gown. I think there's a nice mix of like Genji here. It feels like job artifact gear mixed with Genji gear, and I quite like that. The blade's simple. It's a bit of a miss personally. I'm not a massive fan of that blade, but the scabbard's nice. But yeah, honestly, I like the top half of that. Viper, we're not going to spend too long on this one because everyone's seen Viper, right? You see it on the benchmark, looking fantastic as ever. The different sort of textures there, the different leathers mixing together with the cloth at the bottom. It actually feels like when you'd be walking around, like you think that it's going to make the creaking leather noise, you know what I mean? You visually can see that, and that's quite a good thing to bring over the feeling of it actually being leather and believable. Dark Knight is really nice. I think the standout thing for me is the weapon. It's just enormous. I love a big, enormous spiked weapon, and this one does not disappoint. It reminds me obviously of Ardbut's weapon on the Shadowbringers cinematic. Dancer might be probably my second favorite outfit from a lot of this, mostly because they played around with transparency, and my favorite part of this is definitely like the glove section, or at least the length of those arms. Look at the transparency, you can see your skin through it. How awesome is that? It really is. I'm a massive fan of transparency, and I think they've nailed it. Beautiful outfit. And then of course Paladin, which is something that I think they've put a lot of work into. You've probably seen this on a few things. They showcased this on a couple of demos where they did like close-ups of this armor and the weapon. It is absolutely exceptional. There's nothing I can say that I don't like about it, apart from I would have personally preferred a proper helm rather than a like a coronet or a circlet, but apart from that, fantastic. But my thoughts, I don't know, do you share them? What was your favorite set? Let me know. More videos on the way, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.